Harry Maguire and Manchester United. It's not exactly been a match made in heaven, has it? He was supposed to be our Virgil van Dijk. We overpaid for him. We already know that. But a deal got agreed with West Ham. What was it? A couple of weeks ago, £30 million move. Well, a bid was agreed. The move didn't materialise. It stalled. What was going on? Is the deal still going through? We all felt it would. But then stories from Jacob Steinberg earlier today have been corroborated. His move to West Ham is now off. I'm going to run through the story from David Ornstein, and I want to speak to you about this here because this is a problem. This is a player who shouldn't be staying at the club this summer, but is. Let me run through the story, and then I want to give my opinion on it because I think I've got a pretty strong opinion on it, and I think you know that too. Harry Maguire will not be joining West Ham United. This is what David Ornstein is reporting in The Athletic. The Athletic reported earlier today that the transfer had stalled due to the terms of his exit being negotiated. West Ham had a £30 million bid accepted, but sources close to Maguire, who spoke anonymously, say personal terms were never agreed, and the player did not speak to Moyes. Harry Maguire will not be joining West Ham United. Is a problem. This whole situation is a problem. Now, Harry Maguire, we all know, well, we've all read the reasons as to why he couldn't agree his exit from Manchester United. And it was coming down to the terms of the contract. He'd signed it with, I believe, a 5-year contract worth in the region of 150 to 190 grand a week. And Manchester United were trying to sell him down to West Ham, who I think were offering him around about 120 grand a week. So you're probably looking at around about a 70 grand a week difference in contract, in wages between United and West Ham. And he wanted someone to pay for that. United didn't want to pay for it, and West Ham obviously weren't going to cover that difference. Now, first things first, you can let me know in the comments. I found this, I think it happened with Alexis Sanchez, if I'm correct, because we gave him a mad contract. This is just another example of our stupid football club giving average players massive contracts. And once they've tasted the rainbow, they don't want anything else, man. It's exactly what's happened here. And we might be going from a situation this summer where, look, man, I've loved the signings we've made. I really genuinely do. And I still think we'll make more. But we're sat in a situation right now where we've got Harry Maguire at 30 million. We've got Dean Henderson at somewhere between 20 and 30 million. So you're looking in the region of 50 to 60 million pounds worth of assets right there. Who might end up staying at the club this summer and not starting one Premier League game for us all summer long? I'll be honest, I am baffed. I'm baffed at what has gone on here with this Maguire situation because Harry Maguire at the age of 30 has now prioritised that difference in wages. Now, you could say, Sam, it's a job. Yeah, I know it's a job, but he's hardly on the fucking breadline, is he? 120 grand a week he'd be getting at West Ham. What, man? You can't feed your kids with that. You can feed a lot of kids with that. You could also set up your kids and your grandkids on that sort of money. I understand there's principles behind it, but at the age of 30, Harry Maguire now has chosen to basically forego a whole season of his career, probably his place in the England team, over principles. You know how they say that pride can get in your way sometimes? This is, for me, poor advice. Who's telling Maguire that he should just sit on the bench at United? Mate, you are fifth choice centre-back. You are behind a left-back in Luke Shaw, who would be preferred to play centre-back ahead of you than Erik ten Hag. You got stripped of the captaincy. You went on camera to say that you've got nothing to prove. Yet you want to stay at that club. I mean, I saw West Ham as a perfect opportunity. I would have expected the best version of Harry Maguire to come out of West Ham. That England version of Maguire, the one that we kind of rarely saw at Manchester United. Well, we did for a little bit in the early stages, but not certainly in the last 2 seasons. I expected him to flourish. He may have even been captain at West Ham. But instead, we're staring here at the fact that due to an exit negotiation, due to the fact that Manchester United aren't willing to pay up the difference in those wages, that he's prepared to stay and fight. But Harry Maguire, your words, not mine, my friend. You've got nothing to prove. So how can you possibly stay at a football club as fifth choice centre-back when you've got nothing to prove? That doesn't match up. And I think Erik ten Hag, since he's come in, you're looking at Paul Pogba leaving on a free. Mata, Matic. They all left on free transfers. This summer, I hope that we could be seeing Maguire. Who else have I got on this board? We've got Maguire. We've got Fred, obviously, gone. We've got Bailly. We've got Henderson, Van der Beek, Williams. I've even got McTominay down there just in case a good bid came in for him. But Maguire wants to... I mean, what's your take on on him asking for that severance package? As I said, does this happen more often than not? And I'm just ignorant to it. Because the idea that Manchester United have got a 5-year contract with somebody and decide after 3 years to sell that player, are they not entitled to do that? Is there something in their contract which stipulates if you sell us before this contract expires and you owe us the remaining wages on said contract? I mean, I don't know. I haven't read the contracts, so I would have no idea of that. Maybe clubs are held liable to that. As I said, the only one I can remember off the top of my head is Alexis Sanchez, because we were like, can you just get out of our club? I don't think this is going to get any better, man. I don't see how... Again, I was completely wrong on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and maybe I'm going to be completely wrong on Harry Maguire. But this is just a bit of a really, really odd situation for me. Honestly, I think I'm baffled by the fact that he's made that choice and prioritized being paid those wages rather than going and starting probably week in, week out in a decent mid-table Premier League club. Does he think that he's too good for that? David Ornstein there saying that personal terms were never agreed. There were separate reports that did happen. And I can't blame West Ham for doing this. I can't blame West Ham for pulling out of it. The season's already started. They need a centre-back. They wanted that centre-back to be Harry Maguire. David Moyes have made his choice. And Man United have accepted it. So Harry Maguire now is staying at a club where he knows they wanted to sell him. He knows his manager doesn't rate him, hence why he got the captaincy stripped of him. He's fifth choice. He's now got a pretty sour relationship with the fans because this is going to leave a sour taste in my mouth. I think there's part responsibility on both sides. I think it's another example of a really crap contract that's been handed out, the remnants of the Ed Woodward era. This is another one of those. Was Ed Woodward still here when Maguire came in? Maguire came in 2018, 2019. I think he was. I think it was around about that time. I think Woodward might have left a year later. Either way, it's bollocks. We should be shipping a player off in Harry Maguire and bringing in a player that... So we are now seeing reports that Man United do not think that we could sign somebody like Todibo or Tapsoba or Pavard. That we are now going to be sticking with him. So you may well be seeing Manchester United give Johnny Evans that 1-year contract. And Man United keeping Harry Maguire, a player who doesn't want to be here and a player who's probably more suited to being a coach rather than being a starting centre-back for us. This summer was shaping up really, really well, and I hoped and I believed that it was going to be busy towards the end, and Maguire's exit was one of those. But this is the bottleneck that we've been stuck at for about a week. And unfortunately, that clog, we can't get rid of him. You might say that's unfair for me to call Harry Maguire a clog. But I checked out on Harry Maguire as soon as he said he had nothing to prove. You do not say that as a football player. You do not say that as a Manchester United player. What sort of example are you setting to the young kids coming to? Got nothing to prove, man. I'm on like 160 a week, bro. Jeez. Not good, in my opinion. Really, really not good. I'm not happy about it. I think all of us had sort of reached that point where like, okay, Maguire's going to move on. We'll bring someone else in. This is another just shipping out the deadwood. But instead, it's come back into the bay. Erik ten Hag made his decision clear. Captaincy was gone. The bid was accepted. Terms couldn't be agreed. That's down to Maguire. He takes responsibility. It's down to Manchester United and the crap contracts that we're handing out that's given these players too much power, too much belief. And therefore, when they have to leave, they can start asking stuff like this. It's a crap situation. And one I didn't want to happen. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Maybe I'm being over the top. I don't think I am. Because I don't see Maguire starting for Manchester United in the Premier League this year unless players get injured. And those sorts of players, you should be selling.